Namaste and hello. Welcome to the Art of Yoga Project. My name is Lynn. Thank you for practicing yoga with me today. We'll begin just by centering and grounding ourselves. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. You could be cross-legged. You could be sitting on your knees, any way that you feel comfortable to sit. And if you're always crossing your legs the same way, just change the cross. And just take a moment to notice where you're practicing, what space you're in, and just look around the room. Maybe noticing where the doors are or where the windows are. Just looking all around behind you and in front of you. Just noticing your space. And then finding the ground beneath you. You might even touch it with your hands, noticing how your body rests on the floor, maybe feeling the sitting bones, the sides of the thighs, the feet pressing into the ground. And from there, finding your center. So sitting up tall, maybe rolling the shoulders down a few times. And noticing your breath, just how you're breathing right now in this present moment. And just landing here in your body, in your breath, with your best self. Maybe taking a long, slow inhale through your nose and just exhaling, saying the word ha, sighing out of the mouth. And just noticing before, when you're looking all around the room, how different it feels to just look all around the room as opposed to just bringing your gaze inward towards yourself. So centering your gaze either on an object, on the floor, or over the tip of your nose. And in yoga, we call the gaze drishti. It's a Sanskrit word. And when we're directing our gaze in yoga, a lot of times we'll say over the tip of the nose, or we'll direct our gaze at our fingers or our toes. And it's just a tool to help us enhance our focus and improve and sort of develop focus. It's not easy to focus on things. Our mind likes to think about many ideas all at one time. And that can be a lot of work, a lot of stress on the brain. So in yoga, one of our practices is to try to reduce some of that overthinking by just focusing on one thing instead of so many things. So in class today, one of the things we'll be focusing on is practicing drishti, bringing our attention to one point. Another part of the practice today will be talking about the word dharana. Dharana is another Sanskrit word, and it also has to do with focus and concentration and sort of becoming so absorbed in your concentration that everything else around you doesn't really matter anymore. You're so focused. And so in our practice, in our asana practice, you'll hear me mention those words over and over, just to remind you that we're not just doing yoga poses, we're also working on the brain and the mind, trying to improve our focus and our concentration. Okay, so before we begin, let's just check in and see how you're doing, how you're feeling. And if you have your journal, you can grab your journal and a pencil. If you don't have it, just take a moment to think about this idea. So if you have a journal, I'll give you a chance to write this down. Just writing down one goal I have for the next 6 months is. So think of a goal that you have for yourself for the next 6 months, something that you want to work on, something that might be a little bit challenging for you now, but if you can set aside time and focus on it and practice and concentrate on it, it might become something that in 6 months is a little bit more achievable. Okay, so you could think of anything that comes to mind. It could be finishing school. It could be stopping using drugs. It could be just being nicer and kinder to a roommate that you have or another classmate. So just take a moment. One goal I have for the next 6 months is, and just write a couple words down. It doesn't have to be a lot. And if you can't think of anything right now, just write the beginning of the sentence, and you can always finish it later. So let's begin our practice. So again, if you're in a seated position and you need to change, if you're uncomfortable, you can always change your crisscross, or you could come onto your knees. I'm just going to back up to my yoga mat. And I brought a flower to class today. One of the tools that you can use to help you focus your concentration is to look at an object. So I have this flower. It doesn't have to be a flower. It could be anything. It could be a photograph that you have, or some people use little statues. Anything that's going to help you improve your concentration and sort of not be distracted by other things is nice to use. So even if you don't have a flower, just imagine something beautiful that you'd like to look at. Or you can look at this flower here if it's in the camera in the view. So I'm just going to put it in front of me for a few breaths. And so we're sitting up tall again, rolling the shoulders a few times, just bringing circulation to the shoulders. And then we'll take a little bit of a side bend. So you can bring your right fingertips onto the floor. Inhale, reach the left hand up. And then exhale as you side bend. Okay, you might bend the bottom elbow a little, or you might just reach the fingers out longer. Try to relax your shoulders, keep space here along the collarbones. So you can either have your drishti be the flower on the floor, or in this case, if you want to turn your head, you could turn your gaze towards your inner arm, okay, or your armpit. So you draw your chin down slightly and start to look towards your arm, only if that feels okay on your neck, and breathe. Good, one more breath here, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then inhale, come back to center. We'll switch sides. So you can bring your left fingertips to the floor, inhale the right hand up, and then exhale as you start to side bend. Okay, be gentle. Draw your shoulders down, try not to hunch the shoulders, keep space along the collarbones. And then if you'd like to take your gaze over the nose, but towards your armpit or towards your muscle, your upper arm muscle, you can look there if it feels okay on the neck. Otherwise, just looking down towards the floor. One more full breath here. And inhale as you come back up. Okay, we're just going to practice again, stretching the neck. So again, taking the gaze, the drishti, right over the tip of your nose. You're going to bring your chin down slightly towards your chest. And then inhale as you start to lift your chin, keep your gaze over the tip of your nose. The gaze wants to move ahead in the direction that we're going. It wants to kind of speed things up. The brain likes to go fast. Inhale at the top here, and then exhale as you slowly bring your chin down, trying to keep the gaze over the tip of the nose. Okay, it's not easy. It's actually really challenging to focus the gaze. So don't worry if this is hard for you. Just do your best. Inhale as you look up, and exhale as you come down. 2 more breaths. Last one. And then we'll just take our head over to the left side. And again, lengthening the side along the neck. You can even take your hand and rub if you feel that it's tight here. You can massage the neck. Or just keep your hand on the floor and breathe. One more breath like this. Inhale as you come back to center. Exhale to the other side. You can massage the neck if it feels okay with the hand. Good. Inhale, come back to center. Nice job. So now we're going to come onto our mats on our hands and knees. Okay, and you have your hands about shoulder width, the knees about hip width. And you're gazing forward ahead of your fingers on your mat, so your neck is long. Okay, from here, just picking up your right knee and doing some circles with the right knee, just warming up the right hip. Keep your gaze ahead of your fingers, your drishti, and then change directions with your knees, circle it the other way. Just 3 times is enough. And then release. We'll do the same thing with the left knee, just looking forward on your mat. Keep your gaze steady. Change directions with your knees, circle 3 times, and breathe. Good, and then release. You can open the knees a little bit, come into your child's pose, resting back on the hips, extend the hands forward. If your forehead touches the floor, that's great. If it doesn't, just let it hover. And if you're comfortable here, you can close your eyes. And when you close your eyes, notice where your thoughts go. It's okay for the mind to wander. That's what it does. But see if you can bring your mind back to the breath. So you might count your inhale, 1, 2, 3, and then count your exhale, 1, 2, 3. And do this 2 more times in your brain. Just inhale, count. Maybe you count to 4 or 5. Maybe you count to 2 or 3. Just try it 2 more times at your own pace. And then slowly coming back up onto your knees, you can step your right foot forward between your hands so you're in a low lunge. Okay, and bring your hands up onto your right knee or your thigh. Point the other toes behind you. And then just being here for a moment, gazing over the tip of your nose, and breathe. If your mind starts to wander, bring it back to that one goal that you set aside in your journal, the one thing you were thinking about that you'd like to make plans for the next 6 months. One more inhale here. Then release. We'll step the right knee back and bring the left knee forward. Help the foot forward. If it doesn't get there to the top of the mat, just scooch it forward. And then bring your hands onto your front thigh. And again, just coming up, pausing for a moment here and breathing. Press your back foot into the floor and your front foot. Feel the feet under the earth under the feet. Feel grounded and supported by the earth. Take one more breath here. And then release. And we'll step the right foot forward this time. And we'll add the arms. So we're in this low lunge. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. Okay? Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Keep your gaze over the tip of your nose. Take 2 more breaths right here, pressing the feet into the earth. One more full breath here. As you exhale, bring your hands down, and this time keep the left hand on the floor or on a block if you have a yoga block, and reach the right arm up. And draw your shoulders back, and maybe you take your gaze towards your thumb that is reaching up to the ceiling. If it's okay to turn your neck, you can turn your neck. Otherwise, just take your eyes and turn them so you're looking in your peripheral vision. Don't take the hand back so far that you can't see it. So if you can't see your thumb, move your hand forward a little more. Good. One more breath like this. And come back to center. Step the right foot back and the left foot forward. We'll come up again, bring the hands onto the front thigh. Make sure your knee is over the heel of your front foot. And catch your balance. If you feel wobbly, move your foot out to the side a little more so you have a little more space so your legs are in two lanes. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. Keep the gaze over the tip of the nose. Okay, by practicing your gaze, practicing your focus, practicing this concentration, it's going to help whatever you're focusing on become reality. One more inhale here. Exhale, bring the hands down. Keep the right hand on the floor and reach up with the left hand. So you're twisting towards your bent knee. Maybe gazing up at your left thumb. 2 more breaths right here. Feel the breath. Feel the lungs expand. Exhale as you come back to center. And we'll step the right foot forward, coming up to the front of the mat. So step your right foot forward and just hang forward for a moment. Grab opposite elbows and rock side to side. And then when you're ready to come to stand, bring your hands to your hips, come all the way up. Okay, you're gonna step your left foot back, keep the right foot forward, find warrior 2 pose. So your heel to arch, the heel of the front foot lines up with the arch of your back foot. Okay, if that's comfortable. Bend the front knee so you can see the tip of your big toe, wiggle your toes, and then bring your hands out to the sides, palms facing downward. When you're ready, turn your head towards your front hand. Your drishti in warrior 2 is over your front fingers. So gaze right over your front index finger and breathe. Imagine you're pointing at your goal with your front hand. So visualize, what is that goal that you're setting for yourself? Good. One more full inhale. As you exhale, you can bring your right forearm to your thigh. Turn the palm of the hand up. Take your back arm down to your back thigh. And then reach across. Extended side angle. So you're reaching for where the ceiling and the wall meet. You're making a straight line with the left side of the body. Breathe. Again, if you want to have your drishti here, you can turn your nose towards your armpit. Okay? Hopefully you're not sweating as much as I am. Good. 2 more breaths just like this. And then inhale as you come back up. We'll bring the hands to the hips. Straighten the front leg. Turn the toes so now your feet are parallel. And then we'll turn the left foot out to the back of the mat. Okay, and find warrior 2. So check if you need to adjust that your heel and your arch intersect one another. Okay, so bend the front knee. The back foot can turn inward a little. It doesn't have to stay out 90 degrees. So turn your back toes in a little. Okay, and then from here, the palms of the hands face downward. Relax your shoulders, gazing over your left fingertips. Soften the gaze. So sometimes we can stare very intently. Relax the eyebrows, relax the eyes. Imagine that goal that you're setting for yourself. That could be your intention for class today, that goal. One more breath, just like this. Reach the arms wide. And then bringing your left forearm to your thigh, turn the palm up as if you're holding a platter. And bring the forearm to the thigh. The back hand comes down and then sweep straight across. Good, so the palm of your right hand faces downward and the palm of your left hand faces upward. And then if it feels okay with your neck, you can turn your nose towards your armpit and breathe. And it's okay for your mind to wander when you're trying to focus. It's normal and natural for our minds to be full and busy. But in yoga, when we're practicing this idea of dharana, this concept, we're trying to focus the mind. Okay, it's a practice, it's an exercise. When you're ready to come up, inhale, come all the way back up. Warrior two. And then bring your hands to your hips. We're going to pivot the feet parallel again. Then turn both feet back to the other side, to the left. And then this time, you're going to keep on turning your back foot. So you might even step it in a little, make it a little shorter stance. So now your hips, if you have little lights on your hips, they'd be pointing forwards towards the shortest edge of your mat. Good. So we're going to bend the front knee and find warrior one. So inhale, reach your arms up for warrior one. Shoulders relax, breathe. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. So namaste hands. And so if you want to really practice focus, balancing on one foot is a great way to do it. It's hard for the brain to think about other things when it's working so hard in a balance. So if you'd like to try warrior three, keep your hands at your heart. Inhale, as you exhale, you're going to come onto the ball of the back foot, bend the front knee, send your chest forward and down, and then start to lift the back leg. Flex your foot, spread your toes. Breathe. Some of you will stay here. Some can reach the arms forward. All right? See how you feel today. It's okay if you fall. You can always bend your standing knee for support. Take one more breath. And then step all the way back again, coming back to warrior one. Good. One more breath here, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. We're going to pivot back to center and go to the other side. So all the way around. So take a time, you might need to shorten your stance, turn your back foot forward so your back hip comes forward towards the back of the mat. So both hips are like headlights. Bend your front knee. Inhale, reach the arms up. Breathe, let the breath in. Good, on your next exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And again, you could stay here, but if you really want to focus on balance, kind of emptying all the cluttered thoughts so you can focus on that one most important goal, start to bend into the front knee, lift the heel of the back foot, and then start to come forward. I think I might hit my window, but we'll see. My head's going into the wall, so I'm going to grab onto the wall for a moment. You can bring your hands to the ground. That's another option in this. If it's really challenging, you can always bring your hands to the blocks or to the ground and work on lifting the back leg as well. So I'll show you that on this side. Many ways to modify poses. Bending the knee, straightening it. Okay, do what feels right in your body. Just trying different things. Then when you're ready to come out, just step back to warrior one. Inhale as you reach the arms up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Good. And we'll pivot back to center. Good. Heel toe the feet in. And we're going to come to seated now. So the next pose we'll do in seated, I'll turn sideways so I stay on my mat, but you can do this facing whatever direction you want. I'm going to have both legs straight. So if your back starts to round, then bend your knees. You want your spine to be as straight as you can. Gaze at your big toes. This is your drishti for this pose. So you're looking at your big toes, your hands are on the floor, Fingers pointing towards your toes. I have to bend my elbows because if I straighten them, then I hunch. So feel free to bend your elbows too to bring your shoulders down. Breathe. Maybe you straighten the knees. Maybe you start to fold forward. Just gaze at your big toes, flex your feet, spread your toes, and breathe. So you might feel some stretching in your hamstrings. Don't overdo it, right? Back off a little, don't go too deep. One more breath here. And then start to come back up. You can bend your right knee and take it out to the side. So I'll face this way so you can see. We'll do one leg at a time now because sometimes one leg is tighter than the other. So we're going to sit with one knee out to the side. You could maybe bend the left knee out to the side. Right leg is straight. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, same thing, just hinge from your hips to fold forward, bring your hands to the floor. Gaze at your big toe, keep your focus there, spread your toes and breathe. You might be able to rest your head down, that might feel more relaxing. Some of you that can fold deeply, you might bring your forehead to your leg or just rest. One more breath here. And then coming back up. We'll switch sides. Okay, so now the left leg is straight, the right knee is out to the side. You might even turn your ribs towards your front thigh. Flex your foot, straighten your knee. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, fold forward. This might be where you stop today. Gaze at your big toe. Breathe here, shoulders down, heart center is lifting forward. Some of you can fold more and you could let your head drop and close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Okay, nice. 2 more breaths. And then inhale as you come back up. Okay, we're going to move into Shavasana now. So if you want to do Shavasana, you can lie flat on your back. You could straighten the legs one at a time. And just let the feet flop out to the sides naturally. Let the palms of the hands face up towards the ceiling. And then if you'd like to, notice if your chin is lifting. See if you can draw your chin down a little just to lengthen the back of the neck. Maybe walk your shoulders in away from your ears. And again, bring your attention to your breathing, just noticing, not trying to fix or change it in any way. You might just start by counting your inhale and counting your exhale just to see where you're at. And then just letting go of that, not worrying, not trying to change the breath. Relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. If your eyes are open or closed, soften your gaze. So even if they're open, just gaze downward towards your heart. Notice how your body's feeling in this moment, supported by the earth. Just letting the fingers curl naturally. Just letting the weight of gravity naturally heal the body. Maybe noticing the belly rising and falling with breath. Just being aware of any sensations, any feelings. Any thoughts that come in and out, just let them pass by, watching them as if they weren't even your own thoughts. You're just watching, just becoming aware and paying attention without becoming attached to them. And then slowly deepen your breath. You can start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe take the arms overhead, take a big stretch if you'd like. Inhale through your nose, flex your feet. Exhale, just sighing out of the mouth. Rolling onto your right side, you can bend your knees. And then pause for a breath on your right side. And slowly come up to seated, pressing yourself up with your hands. Beginning class how we started in a cross-legged position. And I'd like to share a quote with you. The difficulties of life should not distract you from the pursuit of your goals. Graciously pursue your goals. If you'd like to grab your journal again and just take a moment to write one more thing, reflecting on the practice we did today. Just writing or thinking about this if you don't have a journal. One thing I'd like to focus on today is. One thing I'd like to focus on today is. We began the practice writing a goal of what we wanted to focus on within 6 months. So as we finish this practice, trying to stay present in what's happening today. What can you do today? What small step can you take today to work towards that future goal? And when you're ready, you can bring your hands to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. Thank you for practicing yoga with me here today on the Art of Yoga channel. Thank you for showing up on your mat. The light within me sees and honors the light within you. Namaste.